Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we re-uncorking a topic that's as intoxicating as it is intriguing, investing in high-end wines and rare spirits. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that just for billionaires with sprawling cellars? Well, you might be surprised. While it's certainly a luxury market, the world of liquid assets is becoming more accessible than ever. So, grab a glass of water. For new and, let's dive into whether this alternative investment could be the right pour for your portfolio. First, let's address the big question. Why wine and spirits? Unlike stocks or bonds, these are tangible assets. You can see them, touch them, and, if all else fails, drink them. But from an investment perspective, their appeal lies in scarcity and quality. The world's greatest wines and whiskeys are produced in limited quantities. A vintage from a top Bordeaux chateau or a limited edition single malt from a legendary Scottish distillery, once they reconsumed, they're gone forever. This finite supply, coupled with growing global demand from new markets and collectors, creates a classic supply and demand scenario that can drive prices up, sometimes spectacularly. Think about it. A case of 1982 Chateau Lafite, Rothschild, which might have sold for a few $100s upon release, now commands tens of thousands. Similarly, a bottle of Macallan 1926 recently sold for nearly $2 million at auction. These are extreme examples, of course, but they illustrate the incredible potential. The key drivers here are brand reputation. Critic scores think Robert Parker's 100-point scale provenance and rarity. It's a combination of art, agriculture, and market economics all bottled up. So, how does a budding investor get started? The first step is education. You wouldn't buy a stock without researching the company, and the same principle applies here. You need to understand the key regions, producers, and vintages. For wine, think Burgundy and Bordeaux in France, Napa Valley in California, and perhaps the Super Tuscans of Italy. For spirits, Scotch whiskey is the king, particularly single malts from distilleries like Macallan, Dalmore, or Silent Stills distilleries that have closed down, making their remaining stock incredibly rare. Japanese whiskey has also seen a meteoric rise in value. Immerse yourself in the subject. Read books, follow industry publications like Wine, Spectator, or Decanter, and join online forums. Understanding what makes a particular vintage great or why a specific distillery as bottles are sought after is crucial. For example, a great vintage in Bordeaux is often determined by the weather conditions during the growing season. A perfect balance of sun and rain can lead to grapes with ideal sugar, acid, and tannin levels, resulting in wines that can age and improve for decades. This aging potential is the very heart of wine investment. Now, let's talk about the practical side. Buying and storing. This is not like picking up a bottle from your local supermarket. For investment-grade assets, provenance is everything. You need to buy from reputable sources, established merchants, auction houses like Sotheby's or Christie's, or specialized online exchanges. This ensures the bottle is authentic and has been stored correctly. A receipt from a trusted source is your bottle's birth certificate and a key part of its value. And that brings us to storage, which is non-negotiable. Wine is a living thing, and it's sensitive. To mature properly and retain its value, it needs to be stored in a professional, climate-controlled facility. We're talking about a consistent temperature, typically around 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius, with controlled humidity and minimal light or vibration. Storing your multi-thousand-dollar collection in your kitchen wine rack is the fastest way to turn your investment into expensive vinegar. Many merchants offer professional cellaring services for a fee, which is often the best and most secure option. This also makes it easier to sell later, as the wine's perfect storage history is documented. Let's switch gears a bit and talk about spirits, which have some different rules. While wine continues to evolve in the bottle, a spirit like whiskey is a finished product once it's bottled. Its aging happens in the cask. So, the value doesn't come from bottle aging, but from the rarity and reputation of the liquid inside. Limited editions, single cask bottlings, and bottles from Silent Stills are the most sought after. Storage for spirits is simpler than for wine. Just keep them upright in a cool, dark place, away from direct sunlight and temperature swings. The seal is paramount. A broken seal or an evaporated fill level can decimate a bottle's value. Now, we have to discuss the risks, because no investment is a sure thing. The market for wine and spirits can be illiquid. It's not like selling a stock where you can cash out in seconds. Finding a buyer for a specific case of wine at the price you want can take time. There are also changing tastes and trends. What's popular today might not be in a decade. Remember when Australian Shiraz was all the rage? Tastes have shifted towards more elegant, lower alcohol styles. And, of course, there's the risk of fraud. Counterfeit bottles are a real problem in the high-end market, which is another reason why buying from impeccable sources is so important. So, what's a smart strategy? Diversification. Just like in any other investment portfolio, don't put all your money into one case of a single wine. Spread your investment across different regions, producers, and vintages. Consider a mix of blue-chip wines from established Bordeaux or Burgundy producers. Alongside some up-and-coming regions, you could also allocate a portion of your portfolio to rare whiskey or even vintage champagne. Platforms and wine funds have emerged that allow you to buy fractional ownership or invest in a managed portfolio, which can be a great way to get started with a smaller capital outlay and benefit from expert management. These platforms often handle the sourcing, authentication, storage, and eventual sale for you, making the whole process much more streamlined. They provide data, market analysis, and performance tracking, bringing a level of transparency to the market that simply didn't exist a decade ago. It is a fantastic way to dip your toe in the water without having to become a world-class expert overnight. So, to sum it all up, investing in wine and spirits can be a rewarding and enjoyable journey. It's a chance to own a piece of history, a tangible asset that can offer significant returns. But it requires passion, patience, and a commitment to education. Start small, do your homework, and always prioritize provenance and professional storage. Don't view it as a get-rich-quick scheme, but rather as a long-term diversification strategy for your portfolio, one that you might just be able to toast with someday. I hope this has given you a clear overview of this fascinating market. It's a deep and complex world, and we've only scratched the surface today. What are your thoughts? Have you ever considered investing in wine or whiskey? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences and questions. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of alternative investments. Cheers, and see you in the next video.